What up, guys? So I'm here today to give you the quick and dirty on whether you should pick up Samurai Warriors 5. Yeah, you should. Make it easy for you, right? I know a lot of other places on YouTube, you gotta wait 15-20 minutes into a video for somebody to give you the recommendation or whatever. But nah, man, like, I'm gonna tell you guys right straight up, it's good. And now let me tell you guys why I feel like Samurai Warriors 5 is good. Because I've been a fan of Warriors games since like I first played them when they came out on like the PS2, you know, so like that was pretty much like Dynasty Warriors 2, which was the start of the franchise as we know it, because I don't know if you guys were aware or not, but the first Dynasty Warriors game was like actually a fighting game. And it wasn't a good fighting game, but it was still pretty sick that that's where it had its roots. But we know the Warriors games is like the Musou series, right? Where you're an overpowered anime protagonist, you're jumping into swarms of dudes in the middle of a battlefield, swinging your sword around, getting a whole bunch of kills, right? Like that's what we know. And to me, Samurai Warriors, I've always kind of thought was just a bit cooler because like the weeb side of me is like into like Japanese history, and like there's names that I recognize from other media sources and Japanese historical crap and stuff like that. So seeing stuff like Nobunaga Oda, Mitsuhide Akechi, Miyamoto Musashi, Tadakatsu Honda, you know, like all these names that I had recognized from other like series and manga and games and television that I watched before. Seeing those names popped up was always sick to me. And the Samurai Warriors series, I think that's why it always caught my eye more. But also Samurai Warriors had seemed to introduce like new like interesting gameplay gimmicks and stuff that weren't always there within the Dynasty Warriors series, you know. And I would say that this game in particular does something that I've been wanting to see from the Warrior series, both Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, for a long time. And that's like, it got some sauce, bro. Like the game finally got some sauce. It's doing something different. Because the thing that killed me for the longest time, man, is that the offshoot games, right? Like the games that were off of the mainline series, like Hyrule Warriors, Warriors Orochi, the Gundam Breaker series, the One Piece Pirate Warrior series. These games were actually way more sick than Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors were. And that made me so sad, dude, that like the spin-off games from this series that spawned from it ended up being better. You know, and like what made those games better? And to me, it wasn't a matter of just like palette swapping and just like throwing different models in and calling it a day. A lot of these other spin-off games, they changed up the gameplay formula, you know, like not a whole bunch, mind you, but like they added new and varied like combo routes. They had like new and interesting characters with like far more interesting just like move sets going on. They had, oh man, what else come like customization, like in the form of like the Gundam Breaker series. They had like a crazy just art style that was out there, and like things that just set it apart, that like made it much more appealing to go to those games than it did to play like the standard Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors series. And I always thought that that was like a damn shame, you know, like there was no reason to me that the Warriors, like the mainline Warriors series games, had to like fall in the shadow of all these spin-offs. I always wonder why like they didn't take some of that uniqueness or like some of that sauce, you know, some of that interesting stuff from the spin-off games and add it to the main line. And they finally effing did it, boys. Like, this is what makes me so happy about this game, is that from the moment that you like boot this game up, one of the first things that becomes apparent is the art style, right? It has like this like watercolor, like almost like Okami looking style with just like the brush strokes and just like the colors, and like they've redesigned the way all the characters look, and they look a lot more anime now. Not gonna lie, like for some people that might be off-putting, but to me, like I love like the redesigns and like the retelling of the story that we all know from either playing these games or from like interest in previous Japanese history. But you can tell that they're going for like a reboot and something different with this game, and the art style was such a good choice to me. It's so much more vibrant, so much more eye-catching. it just makes the game look so much more aesthetically and visually interesting than like the weird, like pseudo realistic, but not really like halfway anime look that the game had previously. This game sets itself apart like artistically right away, and that's so sick to me, you know. And something I also noticed was like how like story driven and like well voice acted this game seems to be. I don't know if I'm 100% accurate. I'm gonna have to check my sources, but I'm pretty sure my boy Hattori Hanzo in this game is voiced by my man Kazuma Kiryu from the Yakuza series, and that's so they automatically had me on board right there, you know. But like the vocal performances from like the characters, like Nobunaga Oda being like our main character that we start out with and stuff, like it's anime, you know, like it's very like what you kind of expect from like shonen, and like it's not catching me by surprise, but you can tell that it's good vocal performances, you know, like it's like you can tell that it's well-known actors and they didn't just get like random people from off the street in Japan. Like they really like they put some time and effort into making like Samurai Warriors 5 like more theatrical and like something different and I guess more larger scale, or just feeling more well polished and put together than some of the Warriors games have previously, you know. And moving on to like the gameplay, right? Because like it's a combination of all these different factors that make the games good. And to me, like the Dynasty Warriors formula is the Dynasty Warriors formula, you know, like it only changes like so much from game to game. But I feel like there's what they did with this is that like they condensed and like they polished what they know works, you know. So like you got your standard like square button strings where like you're beating up your opponents, got your basic combo, and within that standard square button string you got your you press triangle and that gives you a modifier to the combo, you know, where like one you press triangle and one part of the combo gives you a launcher, and another one it gives you a blowback, and another one might gives you a power attack or something for crowd control. And like as you play, your character gets upgraded, which means your combo attacks get longer, which means you get more variety in your combos, which is cool. And something I like, man, is just like with how I like how visually interesting and different like the characters are, you know. It's something to me that was just a long time coming for the Samurai Warrior series. Like we had said previously, right? Where just so many of the spin-off games had so many more interesting characters and things going for it. And I finally feel like Samurai Warriors 5, like it stands up to the rest of those like offshoot and spin-off games, man. Like Hyrule Warriors, right? Like that game is amazing, dude. Like especially like it's a weird hybrid of like the open world RPG mechanics from like the Zelda games mixed with like the stuff that we like from Musou, but everything in that game just feels so like unique and cool, you know. And not saying that Samurai Warriors 5 goes that far, but it feels like closer to something like that, you know, something closer to one of the spin-off games than it does just a complete rehash of what we've been seeing before, you know. Like I'm so glad that they went with this like this new art style and just like they've refined what it is that makes Samurai Warriors and the Dynasty Warriors games good. And to me, it's well worth it, you know. If you're a Warriors fan, you're not going to be disappointed. And I think that this might be one of the first Warriors games like of the mainline type series that I spend a decent amount of time with in a while, because like for a while, man, as much as I love these games, like the mainline stuff just got so stale because it was the same thing over and over. And it's not that there's anything wrong with like the formula, but it's just like it didn't feel like there was a lot of reason to always jump into the series, because if you miss a few games and it's like, well, I know I'm getting myself back into, it's not going to really be that much different. But Samurai Warriors 5 feels different, and I think that's the coolest and the best thing that I can say about it, man, is that it feels like it's fresh. It feels like something new, and I'm excited to sink more time into it, man. So I'm not gonna like blow you guys' feet up too much longer. I just want to give you guys a heads up that this game is sick. If you're a Warriors fan, you might not. Yeah, you got to pick it up, man. You got to, just because you've already liked the formula, you already like the games, and I definitely couldn't see you being disappointed with this one. And I think for people that are new and have been thinking about getting into the Musou games or getting into the Warrior series, I think that this is a hella good starting point, just because it feels so much more, I guess, inviting to a new player, you know, where like it's still got all its historical dramas and all that sort of stuff going on, but the presentation of it to me just makes it so much more accessible for new people to come in and get some enjoyment with these games, man. And it's a breath of fresh air. You know, it's something that I think that the Samurai Warrior series has been needing for a while, and it finally got it. So let me know what your guys' thoughts, man. If you spent any time with the game, tell me what you think. Let me know how you feel. And yeah, let's touch base, man. I like talking to you guys. So I'll get ready to let you go.